Thank you for your interest in Sea Experience's most unique professional development program, EcoPro. I'm Dr. Alex Brilski, the creator and lead instructor for the course, and I'd like to take a few minutes to explain just what EcoPro is all about. Specifically, I'd like to answer three questions. How and why was EcoPro developed? Why so many careers in the dive industry fail? And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, what does EcoPro training involve? EcoPro is truly unique. It's an intensive professional development program designed to train you to succeed in the dynamic dive travel industry of the 21st century. While other courses may address similar topics, none is structured around a 6-day comprehensive experience with 9 open water dives. Furthermore, while most EcoPro students are either qualified dive masters or instructors, there is no prerequisite other than being a competent certified diver. This makes it ideal for those who are considering a career in the recreational scuba industry, regardless of where you are in terms of certification. So it can be an excellent way to determine if a career in the dive tourism industry is right for you before considering the expense of becoming a certified instructor. EcoPro evolved because of a fundamental weakness in the dive industry's professional development process. Historically, the way someone qualified to enter the dive industry was to become a certified instructor, nothing else. While being an instructor is an important qualification, it's clearly insufficient given that, in most circumstances, those working in the scuba industry spend relatively little time actually teaching scuba. Based on my 4-decade experience of having trained more than 1,500 instructors, I can tell you that most full-time professionals spend no more than perhaps 20% of their time teaching. In other words, they have no prior training in 80% of the job they're expected to fulfill. Here are some comments from a seasoned instructor trainer lamenting just how ill-prepared dive professionals are for their job, especially as it relates to understanding the marine environment. Take a moment to read course director Kai Steinbeck's remarks. While I wholeheartedly agree with his comments, I don't believe that you become a better prepared professional by depending on the internet for your education. As the dive industry progresses into the 21st century, I believe its growth depends upon recognizing some fundamental problems. First, we must shift from the idea of training scuba instructors to training true marine tourism professionals who understand all aspects of their job. In essence, we must redefine what's meant by a dive professional. A successful career, especially in the resort sector, requires that you become much more than what I call just another instructor. It requires that you become a true marine tourism professional. Another issue involves the attitude of employers. Frankly, entry-level employees in the dive industry are a dime a dozen and, unfortunately, viewed by many employers as commodities rather than assets. This has resulted in many employers not considering employees as long-term investments, but as this endless supply of ill-qualified warm bodies they can churn through like firewood. That may sound harsh, but it's nonetheless true. Of course, this attitude is a certain recipe for failure. If our industry is to have effective owners, managers, and leaders in the future, we must recognize that developing high-quality employees is essential. But on the other hand, those of us who train them must ensure they're trained to do what's expected of them. The consequences of this mismatch in how we train professionals and the job they're expected to perform is that most full-time careers, at least in the resort sector, last only about 2 years. In terms of time and money spent on training, this is an incredible waste for such a short tenure. And it is detrimental to the industry as well, because it means a continued loss of talented people who might otherwise help the industry grow, yet had little chance to show their worth. However, this scenario is hardly unexpected given the inadequacies of the current training model. So, what does it take to become what I term a complete dive tourism professional? The short answer is a whole lot more than what we've been doing currently. The more complete answer, we believe, is EcoPro. First, let's talk about the basic structure of the course. The program involves a pre-course online segment followed by 6 days of classroom and field-based instruction. A big advantage of having an intensive pre-course online component is that it reduces classroom time and ensures that you arrive on the first day of class ready to, as they say, hit the ground running. But there's another benefit. It enables you to begin the course at home immediately, so you can begin the course as soon as you enroll. Online training starts with 3 narrated video lectures. Here you're introduced to many topics never addressed in the typical instructor training experience. You'll learn what the dive industry is all about and the challenges it faces. You'll explore the trends driving the dive industry and what opportunities these trends present. And you'll learn how all of this impacts your role as a dive professional. You'll gain even greater insight into the nature of the dive industry through a comprehensive online course called Sustainable Dive Leader. This is a unique program I developed in partnership with the Ocean First Institute, a proven leader in online marine education. Here you see an outline of the 5 chapters included in the course: a scuba industry perspective, the impact of tourism, making tourism sustainable, understanding your customers, and turning knowledge into practice. Much of the 6 days we'll spend together will involve the subject of coral reefs. So rather than spend time in the classroom learning the basics, you'll complete another online course I created called Cities Under the Sea, an Introduction to Coral Reef Ecology. During our time together, we will build upon this knowledge through practical application in the field. The final online component is completing a short course that's becoming a standard for employment by many operators, the Green Fins Dive Guide e-course. Many employers, especially those in Asia and the Western Pacific, are now making this course a prerequisite for employment, and some Caribbean operators are likely to follow. So this will be a great addition to your resume in addition to preparing you for EcoPro. Here are the 7 classroom modules we'll cover over the 6 days of the course. You'll see a heavy emphasis on coral reefs, but also notice we won't just talk about reef ecology. You'll learn how they can be restored, and you'll learn how you can assess their health and resilience. In addition, we'll address a topic of interest to all divers, sharks, and the growing trend in the dive industry, shark tourism. Listed here are the 9 open water dives you'll complete. Each is designed with a specific objective of building an understanding of how coral reefs function. Here you'll learn about the community structure of coral reefs and specific techniques to assess reef health. You'll even learn a basic scientific survey technique to characterize the sea bottom and how to quantify the health status of a reef. Lastly, you'll get up close and personal with sharks off the Jupiter Palm Beach coast, Florida's most famous shark diving destination. After 6 intensive days of training, you'll learn a credential that very few others have. Remember, you won't be just another instructor. You'll be an EcoPro. Finally, if you have any questions about course content or would like more details about any aspect of the course, don't hesitate to contact me by either phone or email. For more practical issues, such as scheduling details, pricing, housing, and other matters, please contact Sea Experience's Director of Training, Bob Meadows. I look forward to working with you, and I wish you success in your career as a dive professional.